It's me you guide. Rely on yourself in no way. Believe.
Morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. Almost the middle of the week already. Isn't that crazy? The time just seems to be flying. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about the flying time at all. In any case, we have been going through some um, discussions for the last couple of weeks, I guess you could say, with people who are of a different belief structure than Christians. So it's continuing right now um, with Niddy. Last week, if you were able to catch the show with Tux, that one went fairly well. It got a little problematic, but Niddy was in the conversation, and he decided that he wanted to try and do a conversation as well. His biggest issue with Tux is that he was not very forthcoming with his answers or as complete as he should and could have been. And he says that he can be a better defender of the atheist point of view. And so um, I said, sure, let's have the discussion. I have no problem discussing anything with anybody. That has never been my problem with discussion. So um, we set it up, and he is here to have that discussion with me. So without further ado, please welcome Niddy to the program. Good morning, sir.
Hey,
I see
good to be here.
your people are here already. They came in hot and heavy.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, your chats I don't think interact, so that'll keep my chat the way it is and your chat the way
yeah,
it usually is.
yeah. Um, I know that what I can see both.
Mm-hmm.
So just so everybody's aware that's out there, I don't know if you probably can't see both unless you have my simultaneous cast up on somewhere, but I can see all of it here. So
Right.
I don't need to lay down any ground rules for your chat. That's a you thing. But if you do have questions and you're in his chat room, I can see your questions, so you don't need to ask him to relate to me. I
Yeah.
can see them. I can bring them up. So just so you're aware, I can see your question. If you have questions, I don't think you will. I think you'll be more here to support your buddy. So and that's completely fine. I have no problem. Like I said, I have no ground rules for you guys. As for the audience of Straight Talk, this is not going to be like the other debate. I've watched some of Niddy's programming, so he's not as fragile as Tux. I just want you all to, to know that, and I do believe that Tux is a little bit fragile. I'm not going to lie about that. Um, I think he had a little bit of an emotional attachment to his conversation that did not bode well for him. So he's not. Um, I wouldn't say he wouldn't be the best candidate for debate, but I think he needs to park some of that if he's going to have a really intellectual debate with somebody. So, but I've watched some of Needy stuff, and I do have a few questions. And so, what I
Okay.
want to set this up as first, as you said, that you have a better defense position for the atheist point of view. So, what
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do is explain that statement, if you don't mind, so I can get a better idea. You also said, and I want to make sure I get this right, you also said that you have the advantage in this discussion. So, with that being said, it's not condescending, it's factual. If you can go back and watch the debate with Tux, he was emotionally attached to his discussion and he would not let it go. You can call it condescending, but just because it's factual don't mean you don't have to agree with it, but it was true. He was emotionally attached to it. You don't have to like it. Also, it's my viewpoint, so you don't have to agree with it, and I don't have to make you agree with it. Just so you're aware of that. So anyway, continue, Mister, and let me know what you meant by those two things. That'd be great.
Yeah, so I think atheism or non-belief in gods is the
Hmm.
default position to
Hmm.
start, and it's probably something you've heard before. I think it can give you um, some more pragmatism to your life.
Mm-hmm.
It reduces the potential and the cognitive dissonance that can come with particular religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is a good experiential reason to not believe in certain God propositions, maybe even whole religions. I think that there are many religions that prove difficult to have consistent moral systems. And I think that there are many religions, if not most, that give incoherent or illogical conceptions of God.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my main reasons that we can start with, that atheism is a better position to hold than a particular God or religious belief.
Okay. And is that also equate to the advantage?
No.
Okay. Just a question.
No, I just meant that in terms of I perused your content to
Mm.
get a feel for, how you handle things, what kind of issues you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know if you were going to prepare in some way for talking to me either.
I
But I
never
do.
prepare. No.
Okay, right. Well, I would count watching my stuff as preparing.
No, that was just one video. Technically, I only watched one video, and the one
Okay.
video I watched just happened to be exactly what I needed to see. So
Oh,
it's
cool.
like one line in there I had a question about, and that was the only question I have
Okay.
right now, as opposed to the rest I'll hear from you directly.
Yeah.
But I wanted to address one more thing that your chat mentioned about emotionality not being incorrect. I never said that Tux was right or wrong. And again, this is part of what I have an issue with, is people not listening to the words I say, and they attribute something to me that was never said. Never once did I say that Tux was right or wrong. Tux has a belief system, but the way he portrays his belief system was emotional during that content that we talked about. That's all I'm saying. But if he wants to create an atmosphere where he can convince somebody of another ilk, Christianity, he would be better served parking that, so he can be, as you can see right now, Niddy is not emotionally attached to this conversation because he believes what he believes. I think Tux was in a position where he did not fully believe, still doesn't fully believe what he says. And so he is still fighting emotionally with what he said. And it came out in this conversation. I just wish he would have parked that or fully believe one way or the other. And that would be helpful. That's all I'm saying. Never said he was right. Never said he was wrong. I'm just saying he was emotionally. He needs to park it. That's really that simple. And again, you don't have to agree with my assessment of him. You can have your own viewpoint about him, and that's completely up to you. That's the beauty of existence. You can decide what you want to decide, and we can have a discussion about it. So I have one question, and
Yes.
this is the biggest question I have for, and I guess it's not an atheistic question, but it's a question for you. Where does mankind get their morality from, or the idea of morality?
Now, you said you watched a video that had content related to that, right? Is that why you're asking?
Well, it had a
Sorry,
statement.
I don't mean
that
to
it was
answer.
Yeah.
Great.
No.
I don't mean to answer your question with a question. Sorry to start it off with that. I am convinced that morality is a system of labels that we put on particular behaviors or attitudes.
Okay.
And so without a God belief, those are subject to individuals, societies, and maybe the entire compilation of Homo sapiens. Yeah.
So would you then say that there is a set of few beings that get to dictate the right and wrong of a society?
No.
Okay, so how do we come up with what is right and what is wrong for the majority?
I wouldn't even say Okay. I'll just start with majority as a talking point.
Mhm.
So how do we come up with it? I'd say for a lot of people, it would boil down to pragmatism or the
Mhm.
goal they want to achieve.
Mhm. And so can someone else step into someone else's pragmatism's viewpoint and dictate how it goes? Or should someone be able to do that?
Should? Ooh, these are good questions. Should? I guess if they have a different conception or goal in mind of the right or wrongness of what's happening, they feel obligated to, then sure, yeah, they should do it.
Why?
That's their preference.
So what makes your preference better than mine?
Nothing.
So why should you be able to step into my realm and tell me what I should and shouldn't do? If yours is not any
If,
better than mine, what makes it
mhm.
righter or wronger than what dictates that other than your belief that it is?
I wouldn't say there's anything else. That I will hold a stance on what you are doing and you'll hold a stance on what I'm doing, and
Mhm.
that's where we are. It just the is.
It just is.
Mhm.
So can that change? So can I wouldn't have use the word morally. Can your stance on right and wrong change over time?
Of course.
So is it really right and wrong, or is it just situationally based?
Yeah,
Or should I
that
say,
would
is there a fixed right and wrong, or is for right and wrong continually moving from one phase to another in your world?
yeah, I would say that moral propositions move based on a goal.
So
That's
again,
what a lot of people can that's
mhm.
what philosophers may mean. I'll say may mean by objective.
So again, if my version, okay, let's take this for instance. If my version of nice does not match your version of nice, is it on you to tell me that my version of nice should change?
I could try to convince you your version of nice should change,
Hmm.
but there's no I ought to. I guess that's really where I want to make sure I'm clear.
Hmm.
There would be no I ought to change your niceness. If
Hmm.
I'm compelled to change your niceness or desire to convince you to change your niceness, then it likely will look like I ought to be doing that.
Okay, again, but what gives you any of the rights to even approach it as an ought or should?
I don't have those rights.
Okay,
So I would
but
say nothing.
okay, but in this instance, let's say for instance, like with Christian rights and wrongs and atheistic rights and wrongs, what in your world gives you the moral stance to say my viewpoint one is, now we're not talking about um scientific explanation, we're not talking about
Yeah, I'm not going to pull in
yeah,
evolution.
we are
Yeah,
talking
sure.
about right now the moralistic standpoint of a right and wrong on multiple issues. What is it that tells you that your viewpoint about right and wrong is better than my viewpoint of right and wrong?
I guess that would be my preference or goal. That's
So
what tells me.
mhm.
Mhm.
And that gives you a right to step in on my belief system.
If that's my goal,
Why should that be a goal I agree with?
you don't have to.
But it's your goal to convince me.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I say then um, that my right and wrong are set and fixed and does not move, yours is continually moving, should mine then be subservient to yours if I live in a society where you are the predominant?
Can you restate that really
So like,
quick?
okay,
Make
there's
sure I don't
5
mess
of
it
us
up.
and 15 of you.
Hmm.
Okay. And your rights and wrongs are set and they keep moving along, but mine is set in stone and does not ever move. What edict is there that says I need to follow your viewpoint because you're now the majority of the population? You're 15, I'm only 5. What does it? What makes that happen?
What
makes me having to why should I follow yours is my question.
Okay, I think that's a different question, because the should implies that one of us ought to have the upper hand, or
Well, you do, because you have
the power.
the power. So what if I don't want to comply to your rights and wrongs? What in your world, why should I? Just because you're the majority?
No, it'd be the consequences.
Oh.
And if you're and then it's up to you whether you care about the consequences.
Okay. So herein lies where Christians lie as well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to comply with Christianity.
That's correct, yeah.
Now, and I'm not talking about faux Christianity. I'm not talking about superficial Christianity. I'm not talking about Catholicism. And I'm not talking about any other religious standpoint. We're talking about Christianity when it comes to following Jesus Christ. We're not talking about any other viewpoint of Christianity. If I say that I'm following Christ, I am not forcing you to become a Christ follower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
But what is it that makes you feel the need to make me not want to follow Christ?
What is it that makes me feel
that I should not be
I'm not going to
following
give
Christ?
you I'm not going to give you like a tautology or circular thing where I say I believe I should convince you, right? That's going to sound really dumb.
No, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. It's not dumb if you believe it. I'm not saying it's stupid to believe that you should convince me. I'm just asking, why should you try to convince me?
Okay, yeah, okay, great. I should try to convince you because I believe there's some harms in it.
Name one.
The belief that you are by default worthless or worthy of eternal damnation.
And why is that harmful unto who?
It's harmful to you. It's harmful to children.
Okay, but how is that harmful?
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can produce a tremendous amount of anxiety, depression, futility.
And it shouldn't.
And thinking that you are born sinful and a worthy of damnation shouldn't produce those things.
Yeah, I'm saying, why shouldn't it?
Well, that's a good question.
If I'm trying to change somebody's
viewpoint, okay. Like, right.
Why shouldn't it make,
because
that's the whole point of it. So why wouldn't it make me feel that way?
Why wouldn't it make you feel that way? I mean, by definition, those things to me, those things in Christianity should make you feel that way. But yeah, no, you know what? I'll just say that those things just make you feel that way. By their nature, they make you feel that way.
I want to be clear about one thing, and this is the problem I think that some atheists have when they look at religion. We don't believe that babies and people are born evil. I saw someone make that statement. I don't know where you got that concept from, but it's not even remotely a Christian concept. Not even in the slightest are we thinking that you're born evil. There is a massive difference between evil and being born in sin. Being born in sin is a state. Evil is action. I want you all to make that equivocation in your mind. Since you're not a Christian, you don't get to decide what Christians believe. That's one. So don't tell us what we believe. I'm talking to the chat. You don't get to tell us how we believe based on some idiot statement to you. The truth about it is we are born in sin, a location, a place distant from God. Evil is an act out of sin. Y'all can think that we say that. That doesn't make you right. It just makes you deluded. That's all it does. And I'm trying to correct your view of what actual Christians believe. We do not believe you're born evil. We believe you're born in sin. There is a massive difference between the two.
Can I
So
ask a
make
few?
that equivocation before you state that we believe that people are born born evil, or babies are born evil. If that was the case, we would not be advocating to get rid of abortion. We just let the
Okay.
kid die because they're evil. That's not what we believe.
So can I ask some questions about that
Yeah, go ahead.
viewpoint? Okay, you said that you don't believe that children are born evil because evil is an action.
Hmm.
Okay, great. And the state of being in sin, is that evil or just a thing on its own? Just
Sin
a
is separation
state.
from God.
Sin is separation from God. So why can't sin be in the presence of God?
Why what?
Why can't sin be in the presence of God? Can sin be in the presence of
How
God?
can you be a part of it, be in the presence of something and be separate of it at the same time? How? If I say, okay, let me put it to you this way.
All right,
I
can God be what's the word? I'm trying to trying to phrase this correctly.
hmm hmm
Okay, maybe a better way to question it is, can sin be where God is?
No,
Okay. So, but why?
because he is separate from it.
He's separate from it.
Hmm.
So
Can
is
okay, let me
sin.
ask you this. Can a
Mhm.
female be where you are right now? In you? Can another
In me?
person be in you right now?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, that's the same thing. Two separate entities. They can't exist in the same thing. Now, again, this is something that I want people to be clear about. You don't have to believe that, because this is not a verifiable, scientific, tangible stuff that you can say, oh, show and prove this to me. This is why it's called belief. This is why it's called faith. And this is why not everyone will come to accept it. This is the basic problem to what atheists look for versus what Christians have. An atheist will look for something concrete, tangible, hands on. That's not what God asks us to believe or to adopt when following him. And I think the disconnect between an atheist and a Christian is that we both keep looking for something from the other person to prove our point when you cannot prove it in the realm that each is looking for. I can't prove God to you. I can't prove relationship with God to you. I cannot prove anything to you the way you are looking for proof. There is not a possible way for me to do that. I don't make the rule of the discovery for God. That is you doing it. That is how it happens. I don't make that rule. That is a God thing. I can tell you everything about what I go through, what I've experienced. I can tell you my entire walk. I can tell you it. You may not believe it because it's not something that you can reproduce necessarily for yourself. So an atheist will never come to a belief of God and in God without that relationship, but you can't come to it on your own, and you can't come to it with tangible facts. Now, there are some people who come to a belief that God exists or that the universe was created via science, creation. There are people who have defense in creation. There are people who have defense in science, and they are Christians. I don't go from it that on that viewpoint. I am just saying that when I have a relationship with God, there is no way for me to show you a tangible atheist-based explanation for it. There's no way for. Look, I say, for instance, I could tell you this. Um, I have had experiences in life that are unexplainable by science. In my, you might call it my emotional state, or my in a non-human flesh bone, environmental thing. I can't prove that to you. Okay. Now, does that make it true or untrue?
So you had an experience
I can have an
that you
experience yet. I cannot show it to you,
Mhm.
replicate it to you, but it happened. Now, is it true or is it untrue?
Is it okay? I would say it's true to you.
But exactly. And that
Mhm.
is where the atheist and the Christian hit a brick wall. I know people think you can break through that brick wall, but it's not a brick wall that you can break through, because it's not one that you are looking to break through, because you don't think it can be broken through, because there is no way this can happen to you and it be true without
There's
verifying
no
it.
way it could. Wait, hang on.
No
You
way it
said
can
there's
happen to
no
me.
way
Like
it
if
can
I gave
happen
you
to
my
me?
example, there's no way it could happen to me because you can't prove it. You can't prove it if it happened to me. Or you just go based. You will call it anecdotal, or it just happened in my mind, or it's just your thought process. Just you don't know that
Oh, you were saying the me in reference to
right,
you.
right,
Okay,
right,
sorry.
right.
If you said, because I misheard that, I guess,
Mhm.
as if you were saying that I'm saying this can't happen to me.
Right.
You're right. This is not what you meant. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's
so
right.
that is the biggest issue. Okay, say and it would be no different than if I told you something happened in my family, and then I brought my wife in to tell you that it happened. Now, there is no way for me to really prove it to you because it's a past thing, but you
Mhm.
also have to take my word and my wife's word, because we are in agreement that this happened. Now, can you then look at me and say, well, I don't know if that's true? I mean, just because your wife says it and just because you say it doesn't mean it actually happened. That's just hearsay. But it did really happen in our world. Now, and to us directly. The same way, I'm not going to tell you that what happened to you. Say, for instance, you went to church one time or went to a church building, and the people were absolutely stupid. They went off on some tangent, and you thought to yourself, why would I even think of becoming a Christian? And then you tell me that is why I'm not a Christian. I can't then say, well, you just didn't hear it right. No, you heard what you heard. You experienced what you
Right.
experienced. Now, I can blame the people from what you've told me for doing what they did. If what
Rightly.
you told me goes completely contrary to what Christianity actually is, of course I can say, yeah, that's stupid. But I also can't say, if you had yeah, I want you to have the experience I have, the same way I wanted Tux to have the experience I had.
Mhm.
But it is not something I can foist upon you, and it's not something I can wish upon you. That has to happen, but it has to happen on two levels: God to you and you to God. And in order for the you to God to happen, there has to be a belief that he does exist. Until you get to that point on a belief level, not a proof level, that can't happen. And the atheistic point of view will naturally keep you, because you're a natural skeptic, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being naturally skeptic. Um, so that belief structure will keep you from entering into this whole idea of the belief and faith structure of it.
So that's an interesting thing that you're convinced of. I'm not convinced of that because I I consume lots of content on YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
this is anecdotal. And I watch near-death experience channels,
Mm-hmm.
and the self-presented testimony of a fair amount of these near-death experience people
Mm-hmm.
would be that I was an atheist before this happened. I didn't believe there was a God or gods, but when I was near death or declared legally dead,
Mm-hmm.
I had an experience that convinced me otherwise. And now
Right.
I've converted to whatever religion.
Mm-hmm.
So, what if I just hold that as a possibility despite my current lived experience as, okay, that's pretty unlikely
Mm-hmm.
to happen to me?
Well,
Do you think
there,
that's fair?
no, of like I said, everything is fair because of your interpretation of what you experienced. That is the biggest thing I think that we negate. And I can say this honestly: there are many Christians that negate experience and how people translate experience into their life. And when you translate an experience, it comes from what you went through as a child. It comes from what you happen to talk to someone about. There's tons of things that affect your viewpoint.
Mhm.
Um, Case in point, um, my wife went through a lot when she was younger,
Mm.
and it did affect her view of men and love. Okay. Now, I can easily tell her, well, that's not how men are. But in her experience, no matter what I tell her, you are stupid because I have experienced the complete opposite than what you're telling me. There is no way I would have convinced my wife other than being different myself But even in being different, she had to give my being different a chance. Now, if she didn't give that a chance because of her lived experience, I could also understand that as well. She's not willing to
Okay,
take
yeah.
that chance because that's a huge chance to take. You're asking me to forego what I have experienced physically to take up what you're telling me that's not tangible yet. Now, you crazy fool. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be
You're saying that of
self-preservating.
me?
I'm going to be self-preserving, and I'm going to keep myself from your nonsense. There's no way I'm going to trust you as a man now. I give her all. She has all rights to do that. I
Okay,
hope
yeah.
though, that through my continual behaving in a certain way as who I am, it would prove to her that not all are that way. But at the end of the day,
I
I
hope
may
that
not
too for
convince
you.
her. Well, I've already convinced her that.
All
I may not
right.
convince her.
That's what
I
I'm
may
talking
not have
about.
convinced her that that was the case. And I have to be completely okay with the fact that my behavior compared to someone else's behavior will be a convincing factor because someone else's might be more powerful. Like, say, it was so damaging to her that there was no way she can ever trust a man again. Not to saying that she won't use men, not to say that she won't approach men, but she will never trust men.
Mm.
And so I don't blame an atheist for their viewpoint. They come from that viewpoint from whatever position they have. But the aspect of God when it comes to belief expects you to dump a certain level of concern for self to embrace him. And it's a very difficult bridge to cross. Skeptical, great. But it's a very big bridge to cross. Now, it's way easier for a Christian to jump off the God bandwagon because then.
That's probably something you would say of me then.
No, I'm not saying anything of you. I'm just saying because I've seen a few people in the comment section. You just
Well,
realize that some of us
I
are
would have
former Christians.
self-identified
Yeah,
as a Christian, so
that's fine. I mean, but anybody can identify as a Christian. That doesn't mean that one was. Is all I'm saying.
yeah, that's a position that many hold. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when some people say, "Well, it's much easier for you to leave Christianity and go to something else," because here's the thing about Christianity. Christianity is demanding. It is very demanding. It is very cut and dry. It is very difficult to do. Here's why I say it's difficult. It requires you to look at life and see it and see crazy things happening and trust that that's not how it should be. But in your mind, you're seeing it thinking but that's how it is. So there's no way I can believe that you're telling me that, you're a good God, but you allow this, and this. There's no way you can
Well,
be what you say you are. And that happens.
I don't think the problem of evil is that's what you basically stated. I don't think the problem of evil is always a good objection to believing in Christianity per se.
Hmm.
But the other thing, shoot, that I kind of wanted to, there was something else I wanted to respond to, and when I heard problem of evil, I kind of, whoop, it slipped out of my head.
Hmm.
Yeah, the demanding aspect of Christian belief, what the things that God would like the God of the Christian scriptures
Hmm.
asks of you, or the things that you ought to value. Me, I disagree with some of them now, but that's not what I would say initially brought me to a point where I no longer believe it.
Hmm. Break that down
Or
for me.
yeah. So I wouldn't say that my experience was one of, oh my gosh, I see all these inconsistencies between believers and what they believe, or these believers or the church as an institution hurt me. Those were not the reasons for my departure.
Hmm.
I became convinced by particular evidence, I'd say, that Christianity is false. And that's why I would say, or what makes it difficult for me to re-embrace believing, because I'm not convinced by it. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes.
Cool.
Because like I said, everyone has to arrive at their belief structure based on what they want out of life. Like you said in the beginning, right? Christianity, on the other hand, is asking you the complete opposite, to do the complete opposite of that. You do what God wants in spite of what you want.
Can you go back to for a second about what we want? And can you restate that for a second?
What do you mean?
Geez, that people, I'm trying to remember if you said people are acting in accordance with what they want in life, or my viewpoint is that people ought act out of what they want, or sorry, are you saying that people who don't believe in God are trying to act just how they want?
No, I say people who don't believe in God want what they want. Like, okay, so you said that the society that wants certain things to happen, which is why right and wrong keeps progressing, because your wants and needs change.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you want evil. I'm not saying that you want good. I'm just saying you want what you want. Say, for instance, if, okay, Bible says homosexuality is wrong. Okay. You are gay. There is a massive block between, and I'm not saying that you are, I'm just saying as an example. Say, for instance, someone is reading the book and homosexuality is wrong in the book, and you are a homosexual. And you read that and you say, well, right off the top, I'm not going to deny who I am for some God who I've never met. That is a completely understandable point of view to have, because in your world, you are experiencing something that in your world cannot change. It is who you are. But this God is asking you to not be who you are. There's no way I'm going to follow something like that, because there's no way I can not be me. So what do you do with that? What do you do with that dichotomy? Do you say, I'm just going to ignore who I am and change? You know what's going to happen when that happens is that you're going to end up hating both him and yourself, and you'll end up reverting anyway. But the God doesn't ask us to do that.
Interesting. Because I have been friends with people who saw a passage like that, and for all of their youth life, I would just say, like, I have very strong homosexual inclinations. In fact, maybe it's part of my identity. However, I'm completely convinced that Christianity is true. Therefore, despite these attitudes I might have, I love God and will obey him, despite something I may even think is part of my nature. And yeah, it is very difficult for those people, but they are still following Christ.
Right.
I don't really see a way that they're going to stop doing it yet.
And herein lies the problem. And I'm not necessarily it's a problem. And I think this is the biggest disconnect. People view Christianity as an act. It's a doable thing. And it's not. And I don't know exactly how else to state it other than Christianity is not something you do. It just like people say, I don't choose to be gay. Christianity is just who you are. That you are a Christian. And by default, certain behaviors are now negated. Certain behaviors are now exemplified. So,
well, I would say, yeah, Christianity can't be something you do, because the proposition is that, that it can't be something you just do, because the proposition is that your identity fundamentally changes. You are in Christ, you're a new creation, and you have the presence of the Holy Spirit to motivate you to do otherwise. So, yeah, on our own, in sin, of course, we can't just do Christianity. I think any Orthodox Christian has to agree with that.
Now,
and so wait, oh, this is good. And someone who doesn't believe it should, in my opinion, be presented that by all Christians, so that they don't get that perception that I must do on my own that which I cannot do.
Do all atheists believe the exact same thing?
No.
Oh.
Oh, okay, so it's not really possible for
So
that to always
so
happen.
why would
Yeah.
you all hold?
That's what I prefer then.
Yeah. So why would you all hold Christianity because you think we have a book? Okay, there are plenty of people that have books about atheism that people don't read and don't believe, but they still call themselves an atheist. And but the group think is that I'm an atheist. My thing is this: not everybody follows Christianity the way the Bible says. They'll misquote scripture, they'll state a scripture out of context, and they'll say, well, I read the whole book. And okay, good. And this is my viewpoint about it. My viewpoint about it. At the end of it all, I don't dictate who goes to heaven. I don't dictate who goes to hell. I don't dictate if there is or isn't heaven or hell. Okay. And for those on your side calling me a liar, then fine. If I'm a liar, then the only one to suffer is me and people who might listen to me. And if you're not listening to me, then you're fine. Okay. If I am a liar, if whatever I'm saying is absolute BS and you don't buy it, you're fine. The deluded will follow whatever they want to follow on either side. All I'm saying is this, and there's someone talking about empathy. I don't need to have empathy if you are right. If you are wrong, though, even then I don't have to have empathy because there's no way I can identify with you. But you believe what you believe. And there's no way for me to convince you of what I believe without the person that convinced me. I can't do it. Look, I am sold on Christianity. Okay, I can tell you this 100%. I'm 100% sold.
I've heard you say that quite a bit.
There's nothing anybody that can say anything to me that will convince me otherwise. Period. Point blank. It's not
amazing
possible.
To me.
So and
that is
so
I know, amazing to me. I can't imagine living that way, to be honest.
And that's spectacular. And that is good. That is good because everyone, and that's like I said, this is the beauty of being human. You have the right to not be fully convinced about anything. I have the right to be fully convinced about what I believe. In spite of all I see, I still have the right to believe fully, unambiguously everything I'm saying. Do I not? Good.
You have the right to that? Sure.
Yeah. Right. And people have the right to look at me and say, I'm full of, like your people are saying, he lying. There's no way he can be fully convinced that he's a lying piece of this and that and bad.
Well, okay? I guess you did state earlier that this is a proposition you can't prove with 100%.
I can't. Not the way atheists want it proven. Yes.
Well, okay. So you're saying that doesn't include yourself, just to be clear.
What do you mean?
So if I give a proposition like I have a nose and I tell you I can't be convinced otherwise, but then I said I can't prove that I have a nose, does that set in my theory about what we can be certain about include me or only apply to everyone else?
If someone else takes your viewpoint about that viewpoint, then they've shared it with you, right? And of course, it's a completely different thing because now you're talking about something that's only limited to you. We're not talking about an external being affecting your nose.
So, all right. Oh, well, maybe I misstated it. If I can't prove to you,
hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
No one on my end can boot you.
Lots of timeouts.
Nobody on my end can see. We don't see your chat. Okay, you're not on my channel, so I can't. None of my mods can do anything to you. I don't know how else to say that.
I got a few timeouts once.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, but you were on my channel. Yeah, they're not on mine; they're on yours. So it's not like I can dictate what's happening. If you got booted, that wasn't us. So I just want you to know we didn't. None of my mods did that to you. You're on someone else's channel, not mine. So anyway, go ahead.
So if I say I can't prove to you that I have a nose, do I include myself as someone I can't prove a proposition to?
Mm-hmm.
I might be convinced, but can I prove it to myself with
You might
100% certainty?
you might be convinced, but can you prove it to yourself?
Mhm.
What do you mean by that? Because now I'm
Like
confused about that statement.
yeah. So if I say something like, I can have no possible doubts that I have a nose,
Hmm.
but then I turn around and say, you can have doubts about whether I have a nose.
Hmm.
Is it fair to say that I have a different standard of what I can and cannot doubt?
No, it has a different sense of what you believe. It's not a matter of doubt. You see, I'm not coming from a position of doubt. The position of doubt is on the other people, not me. I'm not doubting it, but everyone else has the right to doubt it. I don't care if they doubt it. It doesn't affect my where I am. And this is where I say no one can convince me otherwise, because it's not a matter of your disbelief of Christianity. It's not a matter of your disbelief of God's existence. It's not a matter of your disbelief of anything I espouse. That's on you. You can disbelieve. You cannot. You can. Anything you want to do. You're fine. You can do it. I have nothing against you having that viewpoint. I'm not gonna come tell you that, hey, this is what they used to do. You're gonna go to hell if you don't. And that might be true, but I don't need to tell you that. I don't
Okay.
need to drive that home every time. Now, I can speak to a person that says, okay, Christians, I can speak to a certain Christian a certain way. But my job doesn't necessarily, I speak the truth of my truth. I mean, I'll phrase it like you guys say. I will speak my truth about heaven and hell. But what I won't say is this: to a non-believer, your viewpoint about God, although it might be true, leads you to a place called hell. While I may fully believe that is true, I don't need to convince you of it. I don't need to. I can state it,
Right. Yeah. And
and I can tell you out of
people in
love.
my
Yeah.
chat wouldn't say that they have an ought except for what they're convinced to do to help
Hmm.
maybe sway your convincedness.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Can you ever be
Mhm.
convinced that there is a God?
Of course.
And so what would be that convincing?
Yeah. I have a miracle that has criteria. So it would go something like this. I'm sitting in this chair right now,
Hmm.
and I hear a voice in my head, and this will only be evidence for me so far in
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying, right? I have a voice in my head that says, I can save humanity from cancer. I am God. I am Yahweh. I am Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
I am going to save humanity from cancer. And here's how. I'm going to give you the correct whole treatment plan, drug cocktail, whatever, to eliminate cancer.
Hmm.
And then it just downloads into my brain like the Matrix, and I write it down,
Hmm. And it works.
and yeah, and it works.
Hmm.
Now, if I'm just some diehard, incredulous, evil skeptic, I would be like, that was aliens with sufficient technology.
Hmm.
But I mean, that would be overwhelming evidence to me. And then I would just have to deal with the fact that there are things in the Bible that I find objectionable or problematic,
Hmm.
but my revelation would convince me so hardcore that, I don't know if I could do otherwise. And I'd probably be very motivated at that in those moments to say, hey, the God of the Bible revealed this to me. You can go through my education history and see I'm a computer science minor and information technology major. I sit and I play with Marvel things, like build Marvel stuff. I have no business knowing the cure to cancer. All
Hmm.
your antecedent information about me is evidence against the proposition that I just came up with this on my own genius, right? So
Right.
I think that would help people be inclined to believe that I had some special revelation that
Hmm.
brought this about. And that to me would be fantastic. I think that would be just inexorable. Like I said, I don't know how I could believe otherwise
You
after
could
that.
believe otherwise. Now, if
In that scenario, yes.
if man then shut down your idea for solving cancer, and you never get it to see it work, what then? Say you go to someone and said, I have the cure for cancer, and they know cancer is a money-making machine, and you come and tell them that you have the cure for cancer, and you never get to test it on anybody, you even remotely sniff the chance to go test it on somebody, they arrest you. You still believe in the voice?
Objection.
Now, the voice told
So I
you
could
it's a
never
cure for
verify
cancer. It told you it's a cure for cancer, but you never verified it was a cure. It just was a voice that
Ooh.
said, oh, it's a cure. And then mankind says no, because, and I'm not saying an atheist, I said mankind, because there are tons of people who are in power right now say that they believe in a God, but they stop natural things from happening to help people out, right? I'm not denying that at all. So if the people at power say, nah, you ain't testing that out, what then? For you, not for the world. What then?
Right,
For you?
right.
Do you still believe the voice?
I think that whatever that voice was would be impotent of what it desired.
Gotcha. So then you wouldn't believe the voice. It would be a lie, or at least not as powerful as it says it was.
Yes, that I think is a better way to put it. And it could still very well be the God of the Bible, and it just felt like it on a bad day, like, hey, this thing can't be enacted because, man is sinful. I gave him this awesome revelation. And I'd say that would be evidence against the proposition that this was completely revealed by God.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Satan, I wouldn't know, because if the thing I care about is believing that God that cares about us loves me, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
If I already don't believe that, or I'm not convinced that that exists, then believing that Satan did it is incoherent. That's just silly, because it's dependent on, one's dependent on the other.
Okay. So if God does have a way for you to escape all this stuff, hear me out. And I'm addressing this statement specifically here. When he says, because it's mankind stopping God's behavior, right? Did God ever say that was going to be one of his goals?
With my miracle thing?
With any, just come back to an absolute Christian perspective here real quick. Did God ever say that solving man's ailments was a goal of his? Or should we be looking for him to do that to prove himself?
Ooh.
Because if he didn't say that, then I'm not looking for him to do it. So that wouldn't prove him one way or another. So did he say that's what he was going to do?
Not in our current life.
Okay. So if he's not saying that that was something he's going to do to prove himself, he did do something to prove himself, and people have to follow that. He did mention one thing and one thing only that he was going to do, and that he did do it.
Redeem
that was
humanity
offer his
through
son,
Jesus
right?
Christ. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So if that was the one thing he said he was going to do, and people don't believe that, what other proof are you looking for him to show you if he told you that he wasn't gonna?
Yeah, I guess it would have to. Okay. I think that this kind of gets into what's called like divine hiddenness, that people do and sincerely, desire a relationship with God, but they're unable to be convinced by a proposition like so far in history.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
It does. And again, I'm glad that that Tux is in here. Who are we to decide what gets done in his name? You see, what we read in his name is like, oh, I want it, and as long as I say his name after it, it's done. But if his name is not on the thing being requested, I equate it to this, a stamp. If I'm sending you to deliver something to somebody, or I have to send you on an errand to tell somebody something, and I send you and I have a seal on you, you are going under my auspices and you are in my name. If, however, you go without my blessing, but you say, I come in the name of, and you have no proof of it, are you in my name? Even though you may espouse one or two things that identify that you may have known who I was, that's not being in my name. You don't have the stamp. But when he says, where two or three are gathered in my name, It's not on us to decide what takes place in his name. If it's not something he wants done, it won't get done. But we like to put our man-made idea of what God should do to make us happier or make us content or make us believe. That's not how it, this is the problem, I think, that many people have.
Oh,
when they
well, I
come to
wouldn't
God.
say that God should do that for me.
But why
It'd
doesn't
be
he?
nice.
So why doesn't he?
Why doesn't he?
Yeah, why doesn't he?
I'll say I prefer
Okay, but why
to
doesn't he though?
Yeah, because maybe there's something better that would convince me. He knows he's omniscient. He knows exactly what would convince me that Christianity is true.
Does he? He will try to convince you. There's nothing out there that's
I didn't
already.
say
Is there anything out there right now in the world that you can't explain?
Oh, well, there's tons of things I can't explain. I don't know if that's a genuine question to
No.
prove
I'm
the
just,
claims of
okay.
the
So
Bible.
there's tons of stuff you can't explain.
Yeah.
How do you accommodate for them? What do you say about them?
It depends on what. Okay, I won't lawyer this.
No, you can. It's okay to lawyer it. I mean, I'm
Okay,
used to it,
yeah.
so.
Okay. I guess it would depend on what you're asking to know about. Like
Mhm.
there's some things that I would make a deference of my knowledge so that I believe I could learn about this. I just don't know it right now because I haven't, looked for that particular form of evidence. Does evidence for that thing exist? Maybe I'm not sure. There are certain things that we've demonstrated or are unable to demonstrate that we just have to say we don't know and
Okay.
just be comfortable with it. Like, for example, and I know that this is contentious between atheists and theists. It's like the origin of the universe. Where did we come from? Well, you don't know where we came from. Well, I have antecedent, which means prior explanations of
Yeah.
prior explanations of where I came from. But that ultimate start point is where the divide really lays, right? Because what I'm saying is we don't know. I mean, like the collective human scientific body, everything else is theory beyond that singularity point, right? And then it's up to us whether we're convinced that it's okay to just not know. Like the not science people like us, are we okay not knowing? But the theist, especially the Christian theist, will say, I know because it's been revealed through God's word.
Yeah, and we can say that.
Yeah.
Okay. So did God ask us to find him from an intellectual standpoint?
Look at the trees.
No, I'm asking us, did God ask us to find him on an intellectual standpoint? Looking at a tree does not explain the tree. It just says there's a tree. I can look at the tree. My question is, I don't break down the tree to find out the molecule, what type of tree, what is it, deciduous? I don't look at a tree and say, that's what I'm going to break it down, and that will prove God to me. Did God ask us to find him on an intellectual level?
I would just straight up say yes.
Where?
The heavens proclaim the glory of God.
Did you hear the question? Did God ask us to find him on an intellectual level?
Oh.
Or did he say the wisdom of man is what?
Foolishness.
Folly to God.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians.
So did he
chapter
find
2.
us? Did he tell us to find him on an intellect? Because someone saying God said it or God told us to is an intellectually lazy point of view. Yes, it is. I have no problem saying it's intellectually lazy. And I'm good with it being intellectually lazy because he didn't ask me to be intellectually conscious about stuff. He never asked me to find him on an intellectual level. In fact, he told me that the mind needs to be renewed, which means that when I think like the way normal humans think on an intellectual level, it's folly. This is why an atheist cannot come and will call people like this, will call us stupid. And this guy is very hard to listen to. He thinks he's a lot more clever than these things than he actually is. I don't think I'm clever at all. If you listen to any of my podcasts, I will tell people I am not a scholar. I will gladly proclaim I am not
I'll say
smart.
that too.
So don't put
Um,
things on me that I never said about myself. Okay, you
Mhm.
might think that because you're watching me, I never said I was smart. In fact, I will tell people I'm dumber than a box of rocks on most days. I didn't go to any grad school. I barely finished college. Okay, I am not the most intelligent person out there, but I believe what I believe. And in spite of all your name calling and all of your naysaying, it doesn't affect my viewpoint. There isn't anything that you can say to or about me that I haven't already said to myself. I've gotten to the point where suicide was attempted 3 times in my life because I
I'm
was
so sorry to
displeased with
hear
who I
that.
am. I was
Mm.
displeased with who I am. You can't say anything to me that I haven't already run down a rabbit hole. So try again. Sorry, not sorry. You're not going to get anywhere with those comments, and you're not going to get under the skin to the point where you think I'm going to be, oh, now I'm changed. No,
Yeah,
I
sure.
have run down that rabbit hole lots of times already.
Yeah,
I've gotten to the
pejorative
end of
speaking
self.
doesn't help anyone change their
Ye-
mind usually.
I have gone down to the end of myself and have seen what I can become. I have seen it. I have seen it. And trust me, Wayne, I fully believe that. I fully believe you don't care about me. I'm 100% convinced you don't care about me.
So,
And that is fine. But you expect Christians to care about you because we're doing harm. You expect us to care about the harm we're doing when you blatantly tell us you don't care about us. So tell me, why should I give 2 craps about your life and whether you go to hell if you don't care about me? Because you think I'm harming people. You see that and this is what you would call intellectual dishonesty, right? Because you want me to do something that you yourself aren't doing. How is that fair to request of me to care about hurting people while you don't care if I get hurt? Ain't that weird? Aren't you supposed to be the morally
well,
high
I
one?
care,
Aren't
but
you supposed to be the
I don't
morally
think
high
there's an
one?
ought for me to care.
I think you would be the morally high one. That if you think Christianity is so wrong for wishing people to burn in hell, you should be filled with care for people, but you're not. You selectively care about who you selectively care about. But when Christians do it, you go after the ideology that makes us think that way. Your ideology says, don't care about me because you see what I believe. And that's
No,
fine because you have the rights to do that. It's okay.
well, I don't say that non-God belief says that I should not care about you. Or sorry, yeah, I don't think it says that, but I'm convinced that I want to care about you.
And I
So,
understand that your viewpoint about Christianity does come from a position of concern. I'm not saying no. Otherwise, you would not be as adamant about your position as you are. There is a level of concern that has to be there for that to be the case.
yeah.
There are others, like I'm saying, you see how atheists, and he's an atheist too talking, right? Do you see how some atheists, though, will wish for you to die before espousing your belief as a Christian? The same way there are some people who
Man,
call themselves Christians that will wish for you to die because you're an atheist, although they're not espousing
that's true.
true Christianity. The same way that Wayne does not reflect your idea of mankind and atheism, does he?
Not in
For
that
somebody to
instance,
say, I
no.
don't give 2 shits about you, get you, F you, screw off, you're doing harm to people. Is that how you view people? Okay, so he doesn't share, even though you
Well,
guys
hang
stay under
on.
the same blanket. Okay, take me. We're going to take me, for
Well,
instance.
hang on. I will view someone like that if I feel as though they're being completely dishonest or they know they are harming people.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Do you or do you not have the viewpoint that I don't give a damn about you? Me. You, Niddy.
No,
Do you
I
have
don't
that
have that
viewpoint?
viewpoint. I
Okay,
give a damn
why?
about you
Why?
because I'm convinced that's important. It's important
Okay,
to me.
good, perfect. But there are other people who share your viewpoint of atheism that does not
Mhm.
share that viewpoint about me.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, but do you consider them then a part of your following in terms of atheism?
Um, No, because
And would you
I
tell
don't
them that's a
think
poor way to think?
I'm maybe I will, but
But would you? And I'm not saying that you will. I'm saying, would you tell them that's a very poor way to think of people?
yeah.
Okay. The
Now,
same way
I
that
I would
Christians will look at
say
other
though,
Christians and tell them that's a poor way to attract people. It's really that simple.
but I would say though that atheism as a it it doesn't claim to have camps in the first place. Yeah, my chat said it's not following. But anyway, I want to go back to did God ask us to use the intellect? Is that
Yeah. Did
what
God
we were
ask us
talking
to
about?
find him intellectually? Yeah.
Find him intellectually. What do you think when Jesus says, "Seek and you will find"? Does that
Seek in the
include
heart.
the
That's a heart
mind?
thing. That's not a
It's a
mind thing.
hard
That's a
thing.
heart thing. Yeah.
Okay. Is what about I think it's a Proverbs that says, "Come, let us reason." What would
Hmm.
reason include? The heart or the intellect?
Both.
Both. Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm asking again, is that in finding God or is that in reasoning with mankind, one to another? What's the whole passage talk about? Man to man, not
Ooh,
man to
okay.
God. So again, did God directly say, find me in the intellect? Or did he
Uh,
say, those who seek me must seek me in what? Spirit
and truth.
and truth.
Then what does truth mean to you?
Truth is not always intellectual. So
Truth is
is
not
love
always
intellectual
intellectual.
or can it be intellectual?
Yeah, I could say, yeah, I could say that.
Okay, but it's also not. Most people don't
Sure.
find
Mhm.
love in intellect. They find love in portrayal. They find love in a feeling. Love sometimes is very intangible, but we
Mhm.
do value love. Many people find their lifelong spouse outside of the intellect. Some people hook up with each other, like back in the 60s, 50s. Was it intellectually sound for blacks and whites to get married?
No.
So what would make a black man love a white woman or a white woman love a black woman? What would that? Why would anybody intellectually knowing what could happen to them love a black man or love a white woman? Why?
Well, I'd say, like you said, seek and you will find.
Exactly. So
Or
it's not
no,
intellectual.
it could be both,
Right.
right? It could be I observe and see things in the way that this person communicates that
Mm-hmm.
speak to my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an intellectual love. They're giving me continual evidence that this relationship is beneficial,
Right.
but also I just really feel about them because, well, I feel.
Right.
I don't know how else to put it right now.
No, you're putting exactly the way it is. It's a blend of the two. But to approach, and I'm not saying that you cannot, let's hear me out. I'm not saying you cannot discover God intellectually. My question was, did he ask you to find him intellectually? Because once the intellect finds him, okay, what do you do now? Because there's a level of him that
Well,
you have to now believe.
yeah, so I guess another question I had would be something like the end of the Gospel of John,
Hmm.
that like these things are written so that you may believe,
May
and
believe.
well, but like,
And
but I
the
mean,
words
it
matter,
seems
though.
the
That's what I'm
impotence,
saying. Just that the words matter.
yeah, the impotence on John though seems to be that I want to provide you evidence, which
Hmm.
should, in my opinion, satisfy the mind
It
or
satisfies
intellect.
everything.
Okay.
Okay, look, following God includes all of you. When he asks for all of you, he does ask for all of you. And sometimes intellectualism asks you to park intellectualism because you are asking me to believe. Do you believe in the Big Bang?
Of course.
Okay. Intellectually, I should believe it because of the outcome of it. But
No, not the
intellectually,
outcome, the evidence in favor
me.
of it.
Well, that's evidence. Isn't outcome evidence?
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
Let's
did you
grant it.
witness the Big Bang?
Oh,
No,
you're
I'm
gonna
just.
do the
It's a
were you
no, no. It's
there
a simple
argument?
question. Did you witness the Big Bang?
No.
Okay. So that takes a level of belief that it took place based on what you see as a result, right?
Yeah.
Because you have not replicated the Big Bang.
Yeah, okay. You haven't replicated. That is true. We probably cannot replicate the Big Bang. However, I don't think that should diminish confidence in believing it.
Exactly. You, and I said this before, you guys have the same belief on something that you also cannot prove to me. Okay, prove to me the Big Bang happened. And I mean, prove it. Prove to me the Big Bang happened.
Prove to you?
Yeah, prove it to me.
Me myself?
Yeah, you.
Well, I don't have cosmological models to give you right now.
Okay,
Do you
okay, so
want
then
do you want papers?
who can prove to me the Big Bang happened?
Cosmologists or
Direct me to someone who
cosmogonists?
can prove the Big Bang happened.
Okay, I can do that after the stream.
Okay, now here's the other question. What is the other half of proof?
The other half of proof. What do you mean by that?
Believing the proof.
Well, okay. The other half of proof
The other
is
half of proof is
believing.
belief. I have to believe what you show me. I
No,
have to
I
be
wouldn't say, hold on. I wouldn't say you have to believe
it
what
does look.
it's
I
shown to
do.
you.
If you show me proof that the Big Bang
I
happened, and I
believe
said,
it's proof then.
"Get you." I
Right.
said to prove to me. I didn't say prove to you. I said prove to me that the Big Bang happened. You can show me
Oh,
evidence
well, I
upon
can.
evidence upon evidence, hard facts, and you know what I can say? I don't believe it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can just reject
Exactly.
a consensus of evidence. Sure.
Exactly. The other half of proof is belief. To me, it's not proof because I don't believe it.
I would say that it's not proven to you, but I wouldn't say
It
it's
is not,
not proof.
again, I don't believe it's proof. You call it proof. I don't believe that's proof. There's nothing you can do, though, to make me believe your proof. I don't care how much you show
If
me.
you're not convinced by a proposition, then
Not
yeah,
at
I
all.
can't make you. That's
Right.
called, yeah, that's called
Exactly.
doxastic involuntarism.
So hear me out. Just because you have something, and this is why Christianity will not be given to you in a format that you can just say it's proof. I can tell you all I need to tell you about God. I can show you till the cows come home what I believe and what I consider proof. You may not consider that proof. Hence, you cannot believe it. You're looking for proof on a completely different level than I am.
So, what do you do with a person of another set of spiritual beliefs that makes the same claim but arrives at a different conclusion? What do you think about that?
Say again?
Yeah, so let's say I walk over to my Muslim neighbors and they give me the same response. They say, you know, I have all this evidence that favors the Quran.
Right.
I even have real world experiences of Allah doing this and that, and I also experience all these benefits from doing my 5 prayers a day at their specific times, and Ramadan is just this huge blessing on me. And you know, they say, is that proof enough for you? And they put me in touch with like Zakir Naik, who's like one of their top apologists, whatever. And they give me more and more and they show me prophecies in the Quran, like, you know, the world will become obese, that will have advanced surveillance technology, that will know how the human heart works, that it predicted fetal development. Like, is that evidence enough for you?
It's
And I'll
evidence
say,
enough for the person.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, yeah. And so it's evidence enough for the person. So do you think that it's a good thing or a bad thing that they've arrived at that conclusion from that evidence?
They arrive to whatever they feel like they should believe. Everyone is convinced of their own. I don't get to tell you what should convince you. I don't get to say that. I don't have the right to tell you what should convince you. I can tell you what convinced me, and I think I can introduce you to that information, but that may not convince you.
Sure. That might not convince you, but I think you might have missed what I asked. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Neither.
To you?
It's not either or.
Okay.
It's not either or. it's a good and bad in this particular situation has everything to do with what you believe the outcome will be.
Yeah.
What is the
So
outcome of my disbelief versus the outcome of your belief? What's the outcome? You tell me. What's the difference between us in our belief and the outcome? Which one is it? Is my outcome good or bad?
I don't want to straw man your beliefs, but I think if you believe that they're convinced of the propositions of the Quran and the truth of Islam, that they're going to hell, so by default that would be bad.
Good, right? But for you, I mean,
I think I am convinced that they will be living in a deception and that their life could be otherwise.
but suppose that's the life they want.
That's the life they want.
Is it bad for them still if that's the life they want?
I guess I would say I believe it's bad, but they don't.
So is it bad for
And
them?
then we're just at
an impasse, right? That's where we're
it's just it's just a moral impasse. And
And-
I'm not going to make a claim that we're going to be able to jump over that moral impasse without a third party.
I would dare Lena to tell me one place where I have spread fascist hate. And I know you're probably not smart enough to understand what the word fascist means, since you want to call me a moron. The whole concept of what you're saying is the guest spreads fascist hate speech. Please explain that to me, because I don't think you actually understand what you're saying. But please tell me where I had any fascist hate speech. I'm pretty sure, and Niddy, you can explain to me if I did this wrong or not. Didn't I say you believe what you want to believe?
Well, no, okay, this is great. This is great.
I'm asking you a question. Did I ever tell you that you have to believe it or else?
Have to believe it? No, I don't.
So how am I spreading fascist hate speech? Please tell me how I did anything along the lines of those two things.
I think that's an assumption about your views about LGBTQIA people.
Oh, what? When did I say anything about my belief about it?
Well, you haven't. I'm just saying that I don't know. I haven't been.
If you want to call me the N-word, just go ahead and call me the N-word. You don't need to, just, I know you want to say the F-word too, but go ahead and say the N-word, because that's what you have in your mind. I'm going to see how you can assume about me.
I do need to say
I'm going to assume about you.
N-word is not appropriate in my chat.
Are calling me the N-word. That's what I'm assuming, because, I can do that since you did that about me. Since I'm a fascist. That's what you believe.
I don't think
I believe that you are calling me the N-word. You can call it false equivalence if you want, but that's how I take it. Okay. I take it as the N-word.
But back to my point, I would say that I don't want to believe there's no afterlife.
You don't want to believe that?
No, of course not. Why would I want to believe in the proposition that I would suffer or be apart from love forever? Can you give me a reason why I would want that?
I don't know why. I'm not in your mind. I don't know why you would or wouldn't want to believe. Some people want to believe that there's nothing after life.
I'm saying if Christianity is true, I wouldn't want that.
Well, you wouldn't want Christianity, or you wouldn't want hell?
I wouldn't want hell.
Well, no one wants hell if it's real, duh. But they also don't want.
Yeah,
they also don't want the escape option either.
Well, I would say that I'm not choosing to believe that Christianity is false because that's what I want.
No, I'm not saying that's what you want. Everybody wants to have the best possible outcome for their life. And if Christianity is real, everybody would want heaven. Yes, obviously. Nobody wants a description of hell that's there, obviously. The problem here is that the description of hell is always what
I guess what I'm trying to say is I would want, let's say I just want to believe Christianity is true.
Yeah.
How about that?
Okay, then you want to believe it, but wanting does not make you believe it.
That's
but
right.
wanting to believe it is not the same as believing it.
Yeah, of course.
Right, but you just want to because of the outcome. I don't believe in heaven and hell. I don't follow God because of the existence of heaven or hell. That's not why I'm following Christ. And I think that's what most people get wrong with Christianity. I'm not following God because I'm afraid of hell and I want to go to heaven. Those just happen
Okay.
to be the outcomes of end of life in my world. Again, not everybody who has to looks at the end result like this. Death is inevitable for
Right.
all of us. Right? We
Yeah,
can't
there's
escape that.
people who eventually will boil it down to consequence,
And that's fine.
right?
That's how most
Yeah.
some parents parent like that too. Some parents
Yeah.
parent out of fear. They give the kid ultimatum and say, if you
Terrible.
don't, I'll break your kneecaps. So the kid
Ooh,
ends up doing stuff because they don't want their kneecap broken. There are lots of Christians that enter Christianity because they don't want to go where? To hell.
to hell. Right.
But the difficulty of doing that is that you're just doing it out of fear of hell. I'm not doing it out of fear of hell. And I'm also not doing it out of the awe of heaven.
Oh, that's so interesting.
The outcome is the outcome regardless. It's there. It's set in stone. There ain't nothing I can do about that. I can't alter hell and I can't alter heaven. It's out of my control. I also can't alter who goes there. And I've said this to him on my podcast. If I die, and after all my ranting on social media, I still go to hell, it's still his decision, not mine. And I am fine with his outcome because I'm not following the outcome. I'm following the person. I'm convinced that the outcome will be in the heaven realm, but I'm not doing it for that outcome.
Okay, so I guess what you're saying to me is you're convinced of the biggest claim of Christianity, and therefore you'll just accept whatever else that entails. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have to.
Okay.
Okay, if I do believe in that God, what options do I have?
Right. Yeah,
I
I mean,
got
I
none.
said that earlier too,
Yeah, I
right?
got no
Yeah.
other option.
Yeah, if I had the miracle, then I wouldn't have any other option. I was like,
Right,
oh well,
right. So, and this is why I don't fight an atheist on anything. It's that people say that I'm being retaliatory or I'm being, I'm just no. Just because I have my viewpoint and won't let it go, you think I'm fighting him? Do you consider this combative at all, Niddy?
I wish we had. I think we could have the same conversation if we were in this
In person.
beautiful day. Oh yeah, in person, and we're both in a swimming pool. We're in inner tubes. We got a margarita, and we're
The
just
only people think we're fighting are the clowns in the comment section. And I'm going to call you clowns because you're the only ones getting offended. And the one person that I'm actually talking to isn't offended. You're offended on behalf of somebody else that isn't offended.
Oh no. That I mean, I can be offended by things, but I don't have to show it outright.
But okay, well, tell me what so far. What have I said that's offended you? And you can be frank about it. Please tell me.
I mean, sometimes, and I will admit I don't have a specific. This may be unspecific, and I'm sorry, but I guess I do get offended somewhat at broad statements like atheists have no morals.
Then clarify.
Like,
that's what. Okay. Then okay.
Yeah.
I didn't say atheists have no morals. Did I say atheists have no morals?
Okay.
Okay. Answer my. Did I say that?
Can I say I don't remember if you
I never said atheists
way?
have no. I asked you, where do you get your morals from?
Okay,
I asked that question. I never said you did or didn't have any. So if you got offended by that thought process, it wasn't because I said so.
All right, man, it's projection.
I asked you, atheists. I said, I said atheists have no morals. Please show me where I said atheists have no morals.
I'll watch it back just to make sure.
And this is what you'll get. Idiots like Lena saying I implied it. Just like you implied the N-word, right? You implied that you're a stinking racist. That's what I get as an implication. That makes me right? No. Just because you thought it was implied, that makes it real? Just because you have an emotional reaction to a statement made, that makes the implication real? No, that makes you the moron, not me. I never said atheists don't have morals. I simply asked you where you got your moral from. That's it.
Wait, sorry. What? I'm laughing at something. I'm not laughing at you or that. I'm laughing
I know. I can
your
tell
chat. Sorry, I'm laughing at something in your chat. Oh my God, Niddy, who hurt you? Like, is that a serious
I
question? Sorry, I squirrel.
that's okay. So I'm just trying to figure out where I said that. I don't
Yeah,
know where I
I'll
said
watch it
anything
back
of the kind.
and
Even when I brought up the homosexuality, I said the Bible says. I never said I. The Bible said it, and it does in the book. It does say that. How is
yeah,
that?
that what I found offensive. Yeah,
Okay, so but
but
that's
I
what the
just
Bible
didn't.
said. So what how are you offended by what I said? I'm not saying it. The Bible did. I
Well,
simply said
okay.
the Bible says if the Bible says homosexuality is wrong, and you're a homosexual, and you read that, this is exactly what I said. If it says in the Bible it's wrong, and you're a homosexual reading that, how do you make that bridge happen? That's exactly what I asked. It was part of a question. And do I believe the Bible says it? Yes, the Bible says it. Do I believe what the Bible says? Yes, because I'm following God. How else do you expect me to say I'm following God if I don't believe what he says in the book? I don't get this. Now, do I go around slapping homosexuals and saying you're a stinking, dirty, nasty? Do I do that? No.
I'm glad you don't.
You know what I do? I just have nothing to do with the affiliation of it. And you see how easy that
Interesting.
is? It's like
What
scrolling
would
past. I
you
just don't.
define as affiliation with homosexuality?
I don't friends with them. I'm not like buddy chum chum with them, and I'm not antagonistic towards them either. I'm not, and it's almost like ambivalence, but I'm not really. They know my viewpoint. I have a few affiliates, friends, if you want to call them, from when I was not a believer, but I didn't excoriate them, and I'm not leaving them out of my world. They now know what I believe. They get to make the assumption
Okay.
of approaching me if they want, but I don't push them away either. But I'm also not going to go out of my way to be a part of their lifestyle, or even approve it. They know I don't. So I don't. I mean, I don't hate them. The person, they know I dislike the
Okay.
lifestyle. They know that. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying
yeah.
they know that for a fact. But I'm not going to
So,
say, "Oh, get away
eh,
from me, you disgusting homosexual." That's
yeah,
not what I do.
I guess the difference is in my view that the love the sin or hate the sin thing is kind of offensive because one, I don't believe in a sin nature, and
Right,
so
right.
I don't know how how it would even be possible for someone well like me, but I I just don't I don't know how I could ever feel right about that position or that that's a good position.
Well, you're not supposed to feel right. It's not a feeling of right and wrong
Right,
if
and
he
I
says
can
it.
be offended by that position
Right, and that's
because
fine, and it's okay to be offended. You have the right to be offended. Now, I don't have to be offended for you or on behalf of you or share your offense, but if you're offended, the gospel is an offense to many people.
oh
Christ is an
yeah,
offense to
certainly,
many
yeah.
people.
That
That
like
don't
the
mean I'm not
idea of
gonna.
eternal suffering or separation. Yeah, people think that's a overmeasured punishment for finite crime, and that's
Right,
offensive, right?
right.
Yeah.
So I don't, and again, you see, this is extremes. Who dehumanizes anyone in Christ? Please, where do you all get this from?
Oh, we
How
watch
is
way too
my
much
viewpoint
Christian
dehumanizing
content.
anybody? Please, Ember, please explain this to me. Where in the world did you get from anything I said that I'm dehumanizing anybody? I really do want to get that answer. Where in the world am I dehumanizing anyone? I really want
Well,
that answer. I really want to know where I dehumanize anybody.
yeah, and I think quite a bit of my audience would say that it is well, Spartan theology has uh, some stab at that, and that's why I asked what would you consider association with a homosexual? Not that I'm aware of.
Would you?
If they were in prison, sure.
But you consider it wrong. Pedophilia is wrong. I'm not equating now for the dummies out there. I'm not equating homosexuality with pedophilia. I know it might be hard for you to make the differentiation in my example here, so I'm going to help you out. I am not saying that homosexuality is the same as pedophilia. So before you get on that bandwagon, let me stop your stupid thoughts right then and there. You don't want
Mhm.
to have any affiliation with pedophiles because you consider what they do wrong. Is that a
Unless I
fair
was doing
assessment?
if I was doing a prison ministry, then
Not well. I'm just talking about you're not doing prison ministry, but you'd consider it
okay,
wrong.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Perfect. You consider it wrong, and I consider something wrong. You don't have any affiliation. But if the person were to stop tomorrow and the person were to change their life tomorrow, you would have affiliation with them. They paid their price. They're
They
no longer living like
they
that.
would
They have changed,
certainly
they've turned their life around. No longer like that.
they would have to certainly convince myself just
Perfect. But
below
say they
a
have
God
convinced you.
proposition.
Say if they've convinced you. Would you have affiliation with them?
Yeah, but there would be very stringent boundaries.
Perfect. It's no different than people when it comes to homosexuality and Christianity.
Yeah, people in my chat are like, why bring up that particular example?
Because it's
But
my decision to bring it up. That's why. The same way you decide to bring up comments about intellectual dishonesty and calling me names, I have the right to do exactly what I did. It's called the First Amendment. Y'all ever read the Constitution? It's the First Amendment right to make whatever analogies I feel fit. Y'all can make any assumptions you want about me, but the instant I bring up a certain thing, now it's a problem. That's kind of weird. I thought you guys were the ones that have all acceptance ready. I thought you're the ones that loved everybody. I thought that you're the ones that wants mankind to just be great with everybody. But as soon as it's applying to Christians, it's somehow different because we're bigots, right? And that's okay. We're okay with being bigots and hateful and all that stuff. It's okay. We are fine with that. The same way we are fine with y'all not believing God. It's okay.
so, I mean, there's a paradox of tolerance, though.
No,
And I don't.
no, there's not.
Yeah, there is. Yes,
No.
there's a paradox of tolerance.
Tell me how.
But when you're saying, okay, my self-expression is something you ought to tolerate. When someone says no, I ought not tolerate that.
I never said tolerate. I've never used the word tolerate. I don't tolerate
All right.
anything. I deal with it. It is what it is. It's not a tolerance of any kind. You believe what you believe. I'm not tolerating it. I paid no attention, so there's no tolerance to happen. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm following God, regardless of what you do.
Okay, well, we've gone like an hour and a half, and I should probably get to doing some work. You've extended my lunch break.
FYI, it is not I'm here. I invited him to my platform. He decided to stream my stream to his platform. Understand
We're
how this
sharing.
works.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Understand how
simulstreaming.
this. I'm not on his platform. He's on mine, sharing it to his platform.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand how, I don't know, the internet works, then say you don't understand how the internet works. But this is how the internet works. You see, if I were on his platform, it would be a different discussion. But this is my invite to him because he wanted to come on. None of y'all want to do that because you can't have the discussion.
Oh,
I
I'm
will
sure
say this.
someone will.
I will say
solicit
this.
you now.
I will say this. I have more subs than you probably do, Tsunami, with your whore-looking self on the channel. You want to go there? Let's go there.
Whoa,
you look like a whore.
All right, I'm
You
gonna
can leave.
leave.
You can leave. That's fine. You look
Yeah,
like a whore.
yeah. No, you're not insulting.
Is that how that wants? That's how you want it to work? I'm gonna leave her comment up so you can leave, but the comment will stay up. I want to be sure of something. If you can call me any names you want, why is it that it's bad for me to call you a name? This is the problem with a lot of you people. He can leave, but your channel is still up and streaming to it. So if you want to take your channel down, you might want to do that on your end. But if you think I'm immune to calling your names, you're completely wrong. If you think I'm opposed to calling you names, that's not how this works here. I'm completely fine with calling you a hooker because of how you look. What sane woman puts that kind of a picture up and not be expected to be called a whore, a man hunter? I mean, I can say that, right? Because that's what I'm being, shown. You're showing your body off, your tats, your tits, whatever you want to say. I can make my own assumptions. The same way, it's my garbage channel. You are a whore. You probably got ran through at least 15 different times in a day. Easily. That's why you don't want to come to God, because if you came to God, you'd have to stop. And you don't want to stop taking D. I mean, who wants to stop taking D? That would be you. You don't want to stop taking D. Why? because you love it. You love it. This is the biggest problem. Y'all wanted to go through the whole comment section and call me all kinds of names, right? That was your you loved doing that. I got called everything under the sun. Now that I'm retaliating, oh, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. Y'all can go off on me in your comment section and call me whatever you want. Disparaging, all idiot, stupid, sassy, all kinds of words you can say. But if I come back at you, I'm the bad guy? I'm the bad guy. Nah. It's fair game. Right? It's fair game. You the hooker, not me. I'm happily married, 5 kids, love my life. You, on the other hand, street walk. I mean, there's a massive difference between us two. But you see how it goes on the other. There are 2 shoes here. There are 2 shoes. There's a left and a right. Y'all can say what you want. But here's the thing. So can I. Now, whether or not I mean you're a hooker, that's inconsequential. Inconsequential of whether or not I mean you're a hooker. But at the same time, it's what you're presenting. The same way you think I'm presenting idiot, and you think I'm presenting bigot, and you think I'm presenting all kinds of things. That's what you say. You say. But when I say what I see, I'm the problem. Ain't that weird? Ain't that weird? Ain't that weird? Name calling by the panel is your line, Niddy, but name calling by your people, that's not your problem. Because you can't dictate what they say about me. They can say whatever they want. And your mods didn't stop them, by the way. In fact, your mods participated in calling names. But when I retaliate, that's where the problem lies. That's amazing to me. That is absolutely amazing to me. Yeah, just okay. So I'm a power tripping bigot. That's fine. But understand, this power tripping bigot can say as much crazy stuff as you can. In fact, I bet you I can make you feel even worse about living than you can possibly make me. I bet you I can rip into you really bad to the point where you want to cry, but I don't do that. I don't, but I could. I'm quite capable of it. Just saying. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you guys, the people that like to call me. If I can help you by not being part of my garbage channel. Just like that. It's easy. It's easy. This is the biggest problem with that and it may not have been Niddy because he did not say the things he said. Or now you're on my channel. You like my channel now? Welcome to my channel, Tsunami. No wonder you like my channel. Welcome to my channel, though. Yes, my father did beat me. You know what that was called? Discipline. Maybe your father should have beat you so you wouldn't be a whore. Maybe if your father was around, you wouldn't be a whore. Maybe if you even had a dad, you wouldn't be a whore. Maybe he wouldn't be like, man, I raised a whore. Think about this. You are selling your body knowing that you had a dad. I mean, if all I know, your dad probably was the first one. I could believe that. I'm pretty sure that your dad was probably the first one to run through you. Hence why you became the way you became. No, don't block her yet. Don't block her. No. Don't block her. Please don't block her. I am pretty sure your dad was the first one to get you. And no, my dad is not. He's dead. So no, he couldn't be in prison. I'm sure your dad is still around because he probably still likes sampling the goods. You let him. So, you know. Oh, good. I'm glad that you're leaving too. I'm the kind of evil that made you leave Christianity? Oh, okay. It's not an insult. It's just a fact. I'm not insulting you. It's a simple statement. Yeah, yes, he is. He's been dead for 40 years now. 40 years. He's been gone for a long time. Wonderful man. He knew how to control his home. He knew how to be the head of his household, unlike maybe your father. So, but your guys are still here on my channel. You see, what you're doing is giving me views. If you think I'm such trash, maybe just leave the channel and it'll die on its own. But you don't do that because you like being here. You like being here. Oh, Tsunami, you didn't expect the blowback, did you? Tsunami did not expect the blowback. Tsunami thought she could say what she wanted and have nobody talk back to him. That's what Tsunami thought. Tsunami thought that when Tsunami talks, like she normally does on the street, that someone will just put something in her mouth and feed her. That's not how this works here, Tsunami. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Oh, I might look. You might have some fun over the next few days. I will have fun over the next few days. How did you know? You think you can get my channel demonetized? You have that kind of power, Tsunami? You think you got that kind of power? Go for it, Tsunami. Try. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tsunami. Do your worst, Tsunami, whatever you got to do. Feel free. Feel free. Bruh. People like that amaze me. You know that? They really do. They amaze me. They can dish out a whole lot, but they can't take it. They can't take it. And that's pretty funny. So here's what I'm going to help you do, Tsunami. I'm going to help you out. Okay. I want you to be very clear about one thing. There isn't anything you can do to affect me because you're inconsequential in my world. You don't feed me. You don't sleep with me. Thank God for that. And you did not birth my children. You don't provide for my home. You don't cook. You don't clean. You just shake it behind, even though it's not clean. I have a wife for that. So there's nothing you can do to affect my world. Even if you got the channel shut down, you know what I can do right away? Start a new channel. There's nothing you can do to stop what I'm doing. You can't. You can try. You can't stop it, though. It's not possible. So have fun reporting. Have fun doing what you got to do. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, no. You think you're attractive? Not all whores are attractive. Not all whores are attractive. Just so you know. Skin and bones don't do anything for me. An anorexic looking male figure does not do anything for me. Lot lizards do nothing for me. I don't know where you think that you are good looking. Daddy lied to you. Men lied to you. But they only liked you because you offered them what they wanted. They never thought you were good looking. They gave you something because you gave it for free. That doesn't include good looking, okay? I just want you to know that. That doesn't mean you're good looking. I don't know where you got that idea from. Okay? Snapchat got you all messed up. Snapchat got you all thinking that y'all are good looking because you can put something over your face and makeup and all. Take off that face and you're a whole different person underneath there, okay? Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself, okay? Come on now. Come on now. We know that's not your real face. And even with the face you put on, it's not pretty. And duck lips and come on, man. Come on. You don't even like who you are. You don't even like who you are. That's why you do all that stuff. That's why you do the positions you do, because you don't even like you. You don't even like the person you became. You're struggling to find who you are. And maybe one day you'll find who you are. Maybe one day you'll figure it out. Maybe one day you'll come to realization that all of that stuff doesn't do anything for your actual personality. All that stuff does not change the fact that there are tons of things wrong with you. That's eventually you have to get to that point. All insults aside, Tsunami. All insults aside. Eventually you'll have to start facing truth. And the truth is this: no amount of filters, no amount of makeup, no amount of running is going to get your heart to change. But you're still here. And your title alone tells me that you don't have a single bit of understanding. That tells me everything I need to know about you. Darkened understanding. It's darkened. So it can't be understanding if it's darkened. Oxymoron. Emphasis on the moron. But y'all can't come sideways at people and expect them to not come back sideways. I've returned. I like tennis. I will play tennis all day. You serve, backhand. Pow. No problem. No problem doing that. What you dish out, just be able to take. The same way I can dish out and take. If you can't take it, don't dish it out. Hey, if you can do it, why can't I? Because Christianity? Nah. No. Don't agree with Christianity now. Remember, Christianity is bad. You guys say Christianity is bad. You guys say that. So if Christianity is bad, then I'm doing the best thing possible by ignoring it and lashing back out. I don't get it. How you guys are going to espouse Christianity in one thing and then what? Come on now. I don't care what what Spartan says he is. He's not a Christian. No, he's not. No. But he can call himself anything he wants. You know, that's up to him. I have no problem him calling himself whatever he wants, but doesn't make him that. Heck, I'm a superhero. Doesn't make me a superhero. I identify as a superhero. I identify as 7 foot tall too, but I'm not. Okay, anyway, in either case, Spartan. And here's the other thing, Spartan. I don't care what you are. You too are of no consequence in my world. You believe what you believe. I ain't got no time for that. I don't care. I don't even want to hear what you believe. I really don't care. Really don't care. That's why I'm not having him on it. I don't have time to waste. Thank you, Michelle. And you white. Oh my goodness, bro. Well, I can probably tell you this: Niddy ain't gonna come back to this channel. It's just weird to me that they feel free to do the things they do, but when you come back at them, all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and you're the bad guy. Like, what? Did I insult Niddy once? No. Did I insult anybody in the chat first? No. Did I come sideways at anybody? No. The whole chat started talking about me and calling me names and all kinds of stuff. But I'm just supposed to sit there and no, fam. No, I let it go on for a whole hour before I retaliated. A whole hour. Nah, y'all are man. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. Anyway. No, you don't know what I'm commanded to do. You don't follow Christianity. I'm actually commanded to hate darkness. So whatever, if I consider you darkness, then I can hate it. So just so you know. Again, but you don't follow Christianity. What do you care? Even if I am commanded to be better, you don't follow Christianity. So what does it matter to you? Huh? If you don't follow Christianity, what are you talking about me and my following if you don't even follow it? Come on now. How do you get to tell me what I believe? You don't, you can't. You can't do that, man. 1 minute you say it's a problem, then you're telling me that I should follow it. Which one is it? Is it a problem or should I follow it? Which one is it? Should I follow Christianity or should I abandon it? You tell me, dark and understanding, since you're so dark and understanding. Please, which one is it? Should I follow Christianity or not? Because now you're asking me to do both, not follow and follow. So which one is it? Is it bad? Is Christianity is bad? Good. Then you go follow Christ the way you follow and do whatever you want. Oh, this channel is popular now. I thought it was a garbage channel. I thought this channel was Interesting. Y'all can't make up your mind which one is it. You can't make up your mind which one it is. And that's completely understandable. Y'all are weird, man. Y'all are weird. So Chris, let me ask you to do me a favor, okay? Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to give you a few names here, okay? Let me see. Darkened, because I don't want them being around bigots and hateful people. And where's the other one? It's Darkened and Spartan. Okay, Darkened, Spartan. And if you can go back and find what's her name? What was her name now? I forget her name all of a sudden. What was her name? Tsunami. If you can go back and find those three and just go ahead and block them. Just go ahead and block them. That'd be great. Not timeout, mind you. Block. Just block them. That way, they don't have to find my garbage channel, my bigoted channel, and they don't have to worry about me. And I can either go to hell or go into nothingness, whichever one I end up in. So, oh, good. Thank you. Good job, Chris. Yeah. So go ahead and block those three, and we'll be good to go. What this is proving, here's what I'll tell you guys is proved. Okay. And I'm sorry it went so long, but I think it went with a reason, a purpose. The reason I keep telling people I have no time to debate in terms of, fools. Niddy was not a fool. Niddy is not a fool. Niddy is a from what I can tell, Niddy is a straight up guy. He says what he says. He believes what he believes. Unemotionally attached. He's straight up. Appreciate the conversation with Niddy. Not gonna lie, really appreciate Niddy conversation. Niddy's people, whole different ball of wax and ball of strings. They're completely different. I'm not going to judge Niddy on the morons that are subscribed to his channel. I'm not doing that. I am not going to judge Niddy on the stupidity of the people that subscribe to him. I really appreciated the conversation I had with Niddy. He was a very direct. He answered questions. He gave his viewpoint. He did not become hostile. He was not name calling. He didn't do any of that. And I really appreciate him. Even when he was offended, he stated his offense and realized that the things he might have been offended about, I didn't say, even though his clown following said that, I inferred stuff. When people know me, I don't infer. If I mean to say something, I will say it. I don't infer. The same way I'm not going to infer that she was a whore. I'm telling her she's a whore. See how that works? I don't need to infer it. I wouldn't say stuff like, you dress an awful lot like something I wouldn't appreciate. That would be inferring. I don't infer. Everybody knows me. I do not infer. If I mean to call you something, it's out and you know about it. There's no question of what I think about you. So with Niddy, great conversation. I would do it again if I didn't have his channel and people involved. No problem doing that. But I do have a line. I'm not going to let people disrespect me just because they think they can. That's not how this works. You're not going to get to do that. I will come back at you. I do serve back. I backhand. I overhand. I power. I do all of it. Tennis. Sometimes it's baseball. I will home run you. Sometimes it's baseball. I will grand slam the mess out of that. No problem doing that. I don't like doing it anymore, but I will. Because I think there's a level of respect that I have to maintain for myself. Not that I'm getting from people, that I have retained for myself. Okay? That's for me. That's for me. And I know for a fact that he has some racists in his following. That's obvious. That is obvious. Very obvious. They wanted so bad to say the N-word, but they know what would come as a result if they did. It's pretty easy to see. It's not difficult. I don't even have to, that's not even an inference. It's there. It's there. But I'm not going to hate you for it. That's who you are. That's who you are. So in any case, I was going to start the series on the 7 seals tomorrow, but I'm not. I'm going to change that. I have another thing I wanted to address tomorrow. So I'll do that. I'll do the fundraiser thing tomorrow, the GoFundMe for my friend. And so we're going to do that tomorrow instead. But Thursday, I don't have a show Thursday. I have something I need to do in the morning right around showtime. So it might, if I do, it'll be late. I don't know if it will happen though. But I'll be back on Friday. So in any case, if any of you got offended by the way I spoke to Tsunami, I'm not sorry. I let her stupidity go on for a long time in the comment section. And it's just, there's only so much you can take. There's only so much, and that's so much I'm willing to take. I will tolerate a lot of the name calling for a long time. I've gotten much better. I'll look at it and I'll leave it alone. And I'll look at it and I'll leave it alone. But it happened so often. Almost every comment from them was derogatory. Smash, smash, stupid, dumb, idiot. Why you such a dummy, stupid channel. I mean, every comment was that. Every comment. And so at some point you got to be like, all right, let's show people exactly who they talking to. They get it twisted. They hear calm and they think I can't come back. They hear Christian and they think pushover. But if you say Christianity is bad and I decide to abandon Christianity, why are you upset? Why are you upset? You asked me to disrespect Christianity. Okay, this is what you told me to do. You tell me Christianity is bad. And the instant I act like I abandon Christianity because you told me to, and I treat you like a non-Christian, I'm doing what you want. I'm doing exactly what you wanted. Why are you mad now? Why all of a sudden you mad again? Like I can't please y'all. Good Lord, bro. Oh, wow. You can't make this up, folks. You can't make this up. They tell me I shouldn't be a Christian because it's nonsense. Then when I act like they do, doesn't your Christianity tell you you should be different? Oh, wow. Oh, man. That's good stuff. Oh, that's good stuff. Oh, wow. I can't get over that. I'll be laughing about this all day. I know I'll be laughing about this all day. Oh, wow. Anyway, Y'all have a good rest of the day. If y'all are on TikTok, some of you may not be. I know you're aversion to it, but oh man, I'm crying here. If you do TikTok, I am going to go live with Bro Kitch to try and advertise for Savage Patriots. So join me over there if you don't mind. Try and get the algorithm moving so we can get more subs. We're trying to get to 2K. That's the goal, is to get to 2K, is to get to 2K on Savage Patriots. Okay, so if you don't mind joining me over there in the next 10 minutes or so, it'll be a little late, but 10 minutes, and we'll have a discussion. Just a a lighthearted thing, nothing big, just to try and get some subs up. So I'm gonna go get me something to drink real quick, and then I'll meet you guys over there on Straight Talk. Not Straight Talk, on thank you, Matthew, and on TikTok. Okay. Wisdom calls to you from the streets. Sorry. Oh, wisdom calls to you from the streets. So please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself and no way.